Hey, all you lifers out there, welcome to the Lifers Podcast where we are serving a life sentence in sports. Tonight we got a good one for you. We got the mock draft episode 2, picks 11 through 21. Today's trustees, we got Kevin,
What's up? What's up?
we got TJ, Papa
Tampa
Josh,
Bay in the house.
Yeah. What's up?
Xavier, and myself, Mike. All right, so like I said, tonight's pick is going to be 11 through 21, kind of like the same floor as we had last episode, if you guys listened to it. First up, we're going to go with the Jets. So go ahead and get it started.
On the clock.
Real quick, Jets got a new GM by the name of Joe Douglas. Used to be an all-state high school offensive lineman. He served in the scouting department for the Bears. He was a VP for the Eagles when they won, I believe. Now he's the GM of the Jets. Jets were 7-9 under Adam Gase.
Yes.
They
We got a
missed
Gase.
out. The first 4 games, they didn't have Sam Darnold, but at the end of the year, they looked pretty good. They do have a lot of holes to fill. And with this pick that they have here today, I believe they will select Andrew Thomas, offensive tackle out of Georgia. I think he's one of the most pro-ready out of the top 4 offensive tackles that everyone's talking about. I'll tell you why. He played for Georgia on the left side, on the right side. He's versatile. Perfect example. You could also shift him inside as a guard. Someone who dealt with that last year, Eric Flowers, just signed a big contract for the Dolphins. And so it's just that flexibility, that upside of just you can put someone that is pro-ready on the line. And I think in order to elevate Le'Veon Bell's running game and to help their young quarterback, Sam Darnold, they're going to select an offensive tackle.
Savia, a tear just fell down my eye.
It's okay.
I was hoping he was falling to Tampa Bay, but that's okay.
I figured.
We'll regroup. We'll regroup.
All right.
Great pick. Everything you said is spot on.
Yep.
Can't argue with it.
I was kind of, me and Savi had spoke. I'll be honest. I was probably one of the few GMs that was calling people to see kind of where they were landing at with their pick.
Trying to throw smoke screen.
All right. For me, for my pick, which will be the Niners pick when we do after Mikey's Raiders pick here. A lot of it was leaning based on where he was going to go. Because to me, I think bolstering that line really helps you. You got to help Le'Veon be successful for the time that you have him. A part of me thinks that they might not go that route with just some of these receivers. I think they might be too tempted and grab one of these receivers in the actual draft. But I agree. I think they should, if an O lineman is available to them in the actual draft, which I honestly am not sure if they will. But if there is, I think they should go with an O lineman and just really help, especially for Andrew Thomas. For me, I was interested in Andrew.
You guys over a little bit?
I was interested in Thomas because of the fact that that he's a left tackle. Staley is a little bit older. And it would have been nice to have a guy like Thomas kind of just plug in, whether Staley retires now or kind of or it's just somebody that can help him out in the background. So,
Hey, well said.
Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah, man, I would definitely say. I mean, Gase is definitely one of the people who he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. He probably is. I mean, I don't know him personally, but being a Dolphins fan, we know what it's like to have Adam Gase. And he's one of those guys that thinks he can out scheme a bad offensive line, and that's the reason why I think, truthfully, he's going to end up going with something like a wide receiver versus an offensive lineman. But the smart pick would be O-line.
Yeah, go ahead.
Question for you, Savi. What made you pick the offensive line instead of a wide receiver? Especially with the Jerry Jeudy. He's still on the board.
CeeDee Lamb and
CeeDee Lamb, Henry Ruggs, all those guys still on the board.
So I got 2 theories here. First, I stated, like I said, their GM, Joe Douglas. I think he'll have an impact on the first pick. I don't think he's going to have it so tight where Adam Gase can't select his players, like Kevin said, but I think it's very noticeable that you can miss out on offensive line talent. They're flying out off the board like hotcakes. And so if you do go with Jerry Jeudy or a CeeDee Lamb in the first round, the Jets have the 48th pick, I believe, in the second round. Are you going to have a guy like Josh Jones out of Houston still available, an Austin Jackson offensive tackle out of USC still available? There's going to be a run on offensive tackles. And are you going to want to go a guard or a center, or do you want to go a high upside player and maybe grab a gadget player or a skilled receiver in the second or third round?
I totally agree with you. I just was asking the question because, a lot of Jets fans may want the high-profile skill position player. I think it's a great pick, and it wouldn't be a bad idea. Pair Andrew Thomas in the second round, go grab Michael Pittman out of USC. He'd be a great second-round pick. So if you can somehow get that pairing to happen, I'm all for it.
Give it a chance. Yep.
Real quick, Suave, what do you think should happen? 30 seconds.
I'm sorry?
What do you think should happen? 30. What do you think should happen?
Personally, I'm with what I think they're gonna do. I want them to get an offensive tackle. They're in our division, and so I know the best way for them to get ahead is not to get a flashy receiver. We can get someone that could run a 4.45 in the second round, and that has good hands, in my opinion, and it's deep at receiver. So,
okay,
there you get it.
Respect
There
that.
it is.
Legit.
Andrew Thomas, number 11th pick for the Jets. Next up, it looks like on this random draft, I actually got Raiders twice, so I'll be playing the GM of the Raiders this season.
Mike Mayock.
There you go.
You're welcome.
Mike Mayock Melendez.
Let me see if I can make Chucky happy. Let me see. So, like I said, I have a handful of receivers I can pick right now. And the thing is, if the Raiders want to start, see if this is going to be Derek Carr's, if he's the franchise quarterback or not. I mean, the whole Antonio Brown dilemma, all that shit. I mean, you were planning that season to have your number one, receiver. So this receiver, that's with this pick, honestly, I'm gonna go with CeeDee Lamb, bro. I've been using, I'm gonna go with CeeDee Lamb. I've been watching a lot of game film. He reminds me of like a DeAndre Hopkins type, fucking monster, 6'2", almost 200. And interesting fact, everything over 20 yards, he has yet to miss, like in his whole entire career there. Like he's just a beast. But again, I like there you got Jerry Jeudy, brothers, but I'm going CeeDee Lamb if I'm the Raiders, because I think that obviously the Jets, will choose a receiver. So I'm kind of just want to see if I can nail this pick. So I'm gonna go with CeeDee Lamb.
What would I tell you if the only pro cornerback he faced all year held him to 2 catches? Jeff Gladney, who is the only draft eligible cornerback that he faced all year, shut him down.
I mean,
and he plays in a pillow fight called the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of NFL receivers get shut down. We don't.
Now,
it's just a bad day. But I get what you're saying.
No, but to piggyback, and sorry to interrupt, to piggyback kind of on your side, Mikey. But can we say, will it be put out there that the fact that CeeDee Lamb, although he did play in a softer, I think, conference, we can all agree on that, he was the only option really kind of for his team, who really didn't have a quarterback like a Tua, like Jeudy and Ruggs had, who, although, again, the conference is kind of what I think a lot of people look at defensively-wise, because I as an SEC fan, I think we can all agree that the SEC has some of the best defenses, and I think, that schedule is always going to be a lot harder for SEC teams than for any other conference. But the one thing about CeeDee Lamb that I when I was looking at some of these prospects, I think the only reason why they gave him, I feel like, a leg up over somebody like Jerry Jeudy is because of the conference that he played in, is because of the fact that he was able to be successful, not really having the pieces around him like an Alabama did, like an LSU did, that was overall better put together, though.
I'm pumping the brakes on that.
And coaching-wise.
Whoa. Offensively, they were better coached at Oklahoma. Lincoln Riley can scheme all day. That's another thing. Did Lincoln Riley scheme him open? That's another question I have with CeeDee Lamb. He had quarterbacks. He had Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield his first 2 years, and last year he had Jalen Hurts, who Kevin will tell you is another pro prospect as a
Beast.
quarterback. So I can't go
Touche.
there. Oklahoma is one of the top 5 conferences. I mean, top 5 college football teams. And I would say Lincoln Riley is a better play caller than any offensive coordinator at Alabama.
Yeah. Mike,
Just
I have one quick question for you.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, I like all 3 of the top guys, all 4 of the top guys, especially if if you take, if you bring in Justin Jefferson, but for me, I think it's all about fit. You have Rudy, who's a very much route runner. Chris understands what he's doing schematically, offense, defense, everything. He knows where he's trying to go. Ruggs, deep burner kind of guy with hands, love it. And then you have after the catch, CeeDee Lamb. Was the reason why you picked CeeDee Lamb because of the fit with Oakland, or was it because you think he's an all-around better player? Because I truly don't believe he is, especially when you think of something like Judy, who faced NFL talent literally all his entire career and has set tremendous rookie record records.
I understand what you're saying. Go ahead.
No, answer that, please.
No, I'm saying Jerry Judy. Obviously I've watched him on all of them, and he played primarily the slot. And coming into this team, I wanted to just knowing that being like the face of all the receivers, just CeeDee Lamb just stood out to me out of all of them. I'm like, they're all fucking 4.45 caliber receivers. They're all fast. They all can jump out the gym. It's just CeeDee Lamb. Like I said, I'm not gonna go wrong picking any of them, to be honest. If they all fall to me like that, but thinking that the Jets are gonna pick Jerry Judy. I know we're talking about just this draft.
So that's what you think will happen. That's why.
Yes. Yeah.
So what do you think should happen if they have the pick of every single type of wide receiver, which they do in this scenario? What do you think they should do?
I don't know. Well, this draft they're not going to trade for a quarterback. I was saying something like something crazy should happen, like trading up. But
why not? That's what you think should happen.
They did sign Marcus Mariota to like the highest fucking backup contract in history, getting paid as much as Teddy Bridgewater as a starter.
Shit.
But I mean, when you have Jason Witten's there, you're gonna have. I don't know. I think CeeDee Lamb will probably be the pick they'll pick.
So you want the after the catch guy. Someone Derek Carr can just
because they do got one of the best offensive lines, and you're gonna have Josh Jacobs there to open the. They can run, and then have someone to pass to. So I mean, I'll go with CeeDee Lamb. I don't think. Go ahead.
I want to piggyback with what Kevin said as far as fit and schematics.
Yeah.
We all know that Derek Carr likes to dink, duck, dodge, dive, dodge, dink, and dink more. Like, I think it is a good fit schematically for them. You can't go wrong with either. I get it, it's weaker competition, but at the end of the day, we are all athletes. Most of us here or played a sport. You handle what's in front of you, and I get it. He got locked down by the pro-ready corner, but how much of that was the safety also shadowing him, or the linebacker put in a zone flat package for him for his out routes? Like, I would love to know all those details because this man is electric when he breaks his first tackle and has open space. So
do you think he's the best wide receiver out of the 4? I know all of them have different traits, but do you think just real quick just real quick, for everyone? Do you think he's going to be the best out of the 4? And just real quick, 5 seconds.
I say yes. TJ says no.
I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be the best. I feel like they're all going to be
quick. Josh, say yes or no.
I think they're all going to be close. I think they're going to be too close. I don't think he's going to be the best, but I think they're all going to be too close.
Politically correct.
Yeah, legit.
God damn! I tried to put some pressure, and he still gave me PC.
No, I think they're going to be close. I think because the thing is depending on where they go. So if let's say CeeDee Lamb goes to a Raiders, and whatever, Judy goes to mine, Ruggs goes to whoever's followed up, wherever, it's really going to depend on their quarterback, on their system. It's I don't know. For me, with these guys being so close and just having specialties in certain things, route running for, I feel like, Judy, yards after the catch with CeeDee, speed and just breaking off the secondary in Ruggs, are they going to be utilizing that on the team that they're going to be drafted on is going to be the biggest question. And I don't know. You would hope that if CeeDee Lamb goes to the Raiders, that they're going to take advantage of the fact that he has those abilities to run after the catch and to just dice through these guys. Now, whether or not he's going to be able to do that in the AFC West with the teams that he's going to have to play against is going to be the question. Yeah.
You draft CD Lamb at 12. He's expected to be the number one receiver. You have Hunter Renfrow, Tyrell Williams, and then Waller and Jason Witten.
Yeah.
He's going to be expected to be the number one receiver by the second half of the season.
Oh, of course. Yeah. And I see it happening.
Let's see.
The beast.
Let's see.
All right, Josh.
I'm not mad at that pick. I'm not mad at that pick.
Josh,
I'm not mad at it either. I'm just.
Yeah, no, you got to make the argument.
All right, Josh has been waiting for this.
I've been waiting.
Truthfully, I think the wide receiver conversation is just as fun and interesting as the quarterback conversation. So that's why
Agreed.
I like
100%.
For sure. Well, with the 13th pick, it's easy for me at this point. It's going to be Jerry Jeudy coming out of Alabama. Coming out of Alabama.
God.
Coming out of Alabama. I like his route running. I think there's a reason why he was the number one target for Tua and Saban coming out of in Alabama. And for me, honestly, part of me, if CeeDee Lamb was available, if he would have taken Jeudy, I probably would have gone with CeeDee Lamb, honestly, as well. Just because to me, those two, I think, are kind of similar in the sense of they're both got great hands. I think they both can run pretty good routes. I think Judy's just maybe a little bit better, known for it a little bit more than Lamb is. And I don't know if this is going to be something that's going to be an actual prospect for us when it comes to the way the draft's actually going to work out. I think Ruggs is going to be more of a realistic prospect for us in the actual draft. But if Judy's available, if someone like CeeDee's available, why not? Why not bump up a little bit extra, I guess, equity, a little bit of a player in those two guys? Even though, again, for me, those three similar, even though I think CD and Jeudy are closer than Ruggs. But Ruggs had impressive numbers considering he hasn't had a drop, I think, all last year. I think maybe he had one drop. So his hands are really good as well. I love, Judy's that guy. And Jeudy and CD had very similar 4.40s. Jeudy ran a little bit faster than CD. Ruggs obviously beat them all with like a 4.27. But I think I saw a stat where most wideouts that run like a 4.2 in that area, even like a high 4.2, aren't very successful when it comes to making it to the NFL as much as maybe you would think, considering their speed.
Yeah, the John Rosses and all them.
Things like that. But he's one of the few that has had, what he brings with him stat-wise before just the speed is different than any of those other 4.2 guys. So,
yep.
The argument can be made, why not maybe take somebody like Ruggs who can take the top off? But if I'm going BPA, for me, it's wideout-wise especially, I got to go with Jeudy. That's my guy.
He's my number one receiver in this draft. So
yeah.
Him and Kyle Shanahan is a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
Which with him, Deebo Samuel, and if they can somehow
we still got Kendrick Bourne, we still got Pettis, we still got these young guys too. So they'll compete, and I think they'll make each other better. So sorry to cut you off, TJ.
And Jeudy doesn't have to be the man day one, which is different than CeeDee Lamb is going to have to deal with at the Raiders.
Yep.
And Kyle Shanahan, probably one of, if not the best offensive mind in the NFL right now.
Yep.
I have no problem with this pick. I think it's what they are going to do, and I think it's what they should do.
If he's available.
Kinlaw is the only other person that I would even consider there.
I'll be honest. I was this close, bro. I was this close to picking him up. Him being the second prospect behind Brown, somebody like Brown. I think he has some. I was reading up on some injury concerns. I think that's the only reason why he might fall. And also because of the Buckner trade. We did get rid of Buckner, but we did invest in Armstead. So I didn't want to. A part of me was tempted to just blow it up. But I was like, bro, if I'm giving up a wideout like this of this caliber to some of these other NFC teams, I don't know if I'm ready to give that up. At least the Raiders, that's AFC. I ain't worried too much about that. I'm not trying to deal with the NFC getting stacked up with any other ridiculous receivers right now.
Josh, real quick.
Yeah.
I
Metcalf
know
already
you're-
showed me that when it came to Seattle. Sorry to cut you off. So,
No, you're good. I was God, Metcalf. You want? Sorry, that just reminded me the McCaffrey contract. We're not going to talk about it now, but
Heard.
get to it
Monster,
soon.
Yeah.
monster, well deserved.
And by the way, I hope Von Miller gets better sometime soon, man.
Shout
I
out
know
to
it's something
him.
we haven't talked about. Shout out to him. Hope he gets ready. But Josh, let me get back to the question. I know you
Yes.
said you're picking BPA at the wide receiver. Did you just get a steal? In other words, is that the number one guy on your list?
I think so.
Or okay.
Well, yeah, because that's not the so honestly, I was leaning more CD Lamb. I just love the yard after. I love the yards after catch aspect of him because I feel like that's what we're gonna need as a team to kind of get these big chunk yardage. I mean, Garoppolo's still unsure if he can throw some of these deep balls accurately, and I think if you can get somebody where you don't have to throw that deep ball, you can kind of knife him in the middle and let him get the yardage for you instead of bombing it. I think that would really help move the chains for us. I think ultimately, which is going back to the Thomas thing, I would have preferred somebody who bolsters up that running attack that we have because that's what's made us successful so far. So why not help have a young O lineman protect a young quarterback and also when you think about the future of who you have to invest in paying, like when you have to pay your players, I'm sure it's going to be a hell of a lot cheaper to pay your own lineman than it is going to be, let's say, a megastar receiver in the end. Instead of, the Niners are at 31 as well. Instead of maybe drafting a wideout maybe deeper into the draft in that first round. But if they're sitting on your lap, it's hard for me to go against any wideout, especially if there's no O lineman to kind of bolster up that line for me to keep the running game as successful as it's been. And also, again, that Staley, Staley's old. He's 35, bro. He's on his way out. So,
Man.
But yeah.
I got a question for you, Josh, real quick, guys, and for everybody. Because I'm a proponent of like when you have something that's going good for you, you keep enhancing and bringing in like upgrades and just so you can have, on the defensive side, for example, the 49ers, we all know defensively were stout. And my only concern is their secondary. 3 out of their 4 top guys will be unrestricted free agents, and Richard Sherman is going to be 32 years old by the end of the season. I get it. You need to jump on that talent of receiver, of type of receivers that you have. But did you at all blink at maybe taking a look at CJ Henderson from Florida?
Nope.
Or someone who can.
I love CJ being a Florida fan. Yeah, no. And sorry to cut you off, but it was for me. It was I couldn't in the history of the Niners for the most part, in the most recent history, secondary wise, we haven't been the best. That's just it for whatever reason. We just never. We've had some, I think, not mediocre people that have been able to do the job enough to get us through games. In the past, we had Eric Reed. We had, right now we got Jimmy Ward. We had, oh my God, why can't I'm like having brain farts. But we had several people, I feel like, in our secondary that were able to kind of keep us in the game. But it wasn't what defensively wise, what made us who we were. It was always the front seven. It's always been the front seven for us. So for me, it's hard to, unless you see just a talent like somebody like Isaiah Simmons were to fall to us at this point, there's no way for me to really feel like I'm willing to invest this kind of draft position to anybody like that. Like it's, I don't know. I never thought about secondary this high up. For me, it's give Jimmy G and Kyle Shanahan the pieces to attack because defensively we've been able to keep majority of the people that we have, at least for next year. And I think we all know for the most part, if you have a team that you've already been successful for in the past, just like you said, you bolster up what's made you successful. You bolster up what's going to keep you in the game. For us, it's been our running attack and our front seven. That's what kept us in the game all last year. I think you help with that. If you can pick up pieces in the secondary, of course, that's great. But I think you start with what's available and what's the best, again, BPA for what you need. If that aligns, then you got to go with that. And for us, It was offensively, for me personally, it was either going to be an old lineman or a wideout.
Okay.
Whatever was available. That to me. But yeah, but I get CB wise because we've never really had somebody that was just like, oh my God, like somebody that you just rave about.
Real quick, and I'm so
Recently.
sorry.
No, you're good.
Do you think that's what affected you guys in the Super Bowl, not being able to cover those big plays that were happening, or?
No, well, I think it was a little bit of both, honestly. You know, obviously, yeah, I think the defense gave up certain plays, but I think Jimmy G missed out on a couple passes. He missed that Emmanuel Sanders pass, which really killed us.
Yep.
And I think Kyle Shanahan also stepped away a little bit from the running game,
Yep.
which also killed us. So I don't think it was just our CBs. You know, I think our front seven really helps the CBs a lot because we put the pressure on the quarterback and we stop the run. We've always been great at stopping the run. So
Love it.
I agree.
Nice.
I agree with you, Josh. I don't think the Chiefs called the right play against the right defense at the right time. That's why Tyreek Hill got open on that play. And if Jimmy G makes that throw to Emmanuel Sanders, that play is null and void.
Yep.
So
Yep.
Love it.
All right, who's next? Who's at 14?
The
here?
Tampa Bay.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, TB12.
all right. So with the 14th pick in the 2022 Lifers mock draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Javon Kinlaw.
Woo!
Savi broke my heart with Andrew. With the Jets broke my heart by picking Andrew Thomas, the tackle I believe could potentially fall to the Bucs if the draft cards fall in our favor. But this is a great backup plan, a great second option for us. Kinlaw is the second best defensive tackle in the draft. Some NFL draft analysts consider him the best prospect. They consider him a top 10 talent. So for us to get the second best defensive tackle in the draft is exciting. He can come in and learn behind Ndamukong Suh and create that rotation between Suh, Vita Vea, and Will Golston down there on the defensive line. He's athletic enough to play all three spots. So I just feel it's a win. It adds depth to our defensive line. We were already the number one run defense in the NFL last year. So I think it fills a need for us right now. Offensive tackle is a bigger need. And I just don't think right now any of the tackles that are left on the board are good enough to be selected at 14. And without the option of trading back, which I would like to do, and if the draft falls this way, I would hope the Buccaneers attempt to trade back. I know it takes two to tango, and you got to have a trade partner. But I think Kinlaw is the pick.
Love it.
I agree.
I don't mind it.
I don't know. I kind of want to throw a little bit of a wrench in the pick.
Let's do it.
Like you said, you already said you had the number one, best run defense going into it. So you guys are now championship or bust. Now let's be honest. That's the kind of pressure that happens when you bring somebody like Brady. Is that what you think you need to bring you over the top? Like, remember, we're thinking your first round pick is the guy who's going to come in and contribute. So what if it's not DT? What position is it? How would you address that? And why did you make that pick? I understand he is BPA, but you're already first running. What is it? You're just going to put,
Two reasons why I believe he's number one. It's BPA, and I believe that you, as Savi said earlier, you make strength stronger. So we are the number one run defense, but Suh is older. So not only is he helping us plan for the future, he's also going to be able to contribute this year. We lost a couple defensive tackles to free agency, so we were a little thin in that area. We have good starters, but we all know that a football season is a war of attrition. It's all about who's healthier down the stretch. And this will allow us to get Suh off the field sometimes, give Vea a break, get Will Golston some reps on the sidelines, and be able to take a play or two here off. It's too early. The only two positions that I think that would impact us the most and to help us besides a defensive tackle right now would be a running back or a right tackle. And it's too early for a running back, and the tackles that are on the board right now aren't worth the 14th pick. It's just how the board fell.
Okay.
It's plain and simple.
So in that scenario, is that the dream scenario?
For me, I would
Realistic.
say yes.
All right, realistic dream scenario would say.
I would say if
only
it falls
other
like this, right? Because if you have an old lineman, if you have one of the top four, that's the only way that you're going to pick an old lineman, right?
the only other thing there's two other players that I considered with this pick. Number one is Kayvon Chason because you can never have enough edge pressure. I figured we have JPP, we franchise tag Shaq Barrett, and we have Anthony Nelson, who we drafted in the 4th round last year, who will fill in where Carl Nassib played last year. So Kayvon Chason is an option, and I wouldn't be mad if that happened. And the only other person I would draft right now would be Henry Ruggs. And that would give us the best wide receiver tandem. Well, sorry, our best wide receiver trio in the NFL. Hands down, no question. But that's the only other thing I would consider. Those are the other 3 options I would consider.
I got another question, and it's kind of almost what I asked about Josh earlier. You're not worried about that secondary? And none of those picks that are available for you?
The reason why I won't go secondary is because I believe the only player secondary wise right now that I would even think about picking, also entertaining the thought, would be CJ Henderson. But our secondary down the stretch last year played well, number one. Number two, the secondary is very young. And to add another young guy that you have to teach the system again, I don't think is the best option. What I think we're going to do after the draft, we're going to add a veteran corner for depth. And like a Logan Ryan, somebody of that nature, his asking price is a little high right now, but after the draft, the people fill needs, your asking price has to come down. So that's where I would look, to add a veteran for depth purposes. But to add another young guy to a young secondary, I don't think that's in our best interest right now. And I think they really like this group.
Love it. Love it.
Oh, yeah. I like it.
Yeah, I mean,
and
also another thing that's going to help your defense is the fact that you have Tom Brady going to be on the field, get your first down, not have to throw a pick like Winston did, get the defense back out on the field. Little things like that. It's going to help them rest
possession on the field. Let them get some rest.
Yeah.
When the statistics say if your defense is on the field for 28 minutes or less, the chances of you winning increase gratefully. So I think that'll help us stay off the field and allow us to be up in games, be able to run the football, and then let that pass rush attack. JPP and Shaq Barrett, if they can stay healthy, are going to have a big year.
Love it.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I love it.
Go Bucks.
Is it Broncos time?
It is. Senor Kevin.
All right. Yo, man. This was an exciting one. I definitely had to do some research, do some, intel on what to do.
Intel.
And the way I looked at it was, you know what? It isn't right for me to make this pick, and what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to call in a little bit of a lifer. So give me a second, all right?
Oh shit.
Oh boy.
There he is.
Live.
Yay!
There he is.
There it is. What's up?
What's up, brother?
What on?
What's up,
I'm a
Mike?
real Denver fan.
Oh yeah, big time.
All
Coming
right.
from Colorado Springs.
There you go.
So who do you think? Brock, what's your pick at number 15?
Yeah, Ruggs, easy. If he's there, they take Ruggs.
Damn.
Good, man. You got to.
It's easy as fuck.
You got to.
'Cause I mean, outside of fucking Sutton, they don't have any wide receivers that are worth the shit, really. And other than, like, if you want to count the tight end, like, no fan's pretty good, but he was, like, hot and cold. I think he'll be a killer, like, tight end, but if you add Ruggs in with Sutton, because Sutton's kind of probably blow up next year, I think, like, be another Demaryius Thomas type receiver for Denver. And, if Drew Lock continues to, like, improve with the backfield, you add a speedster like Ruggs, that offense will be killer next year.
TJ, you like that team, right? That's your surprise team next year?
That is my surprise team next year is the Denver Broncos. I love Vic Fangio. I think Drew Lock came out from the second round and did his thing. Cortland Sutton is a beast. You add Melvin Gordon to that team. You steal Jarrell Casey. Like you get Bradley Chubb back healthy with Von Miller on. God bless him. He gets recovers from the COVID virus. But with everybody there,
There
I think
he
that
is.
team
Yeah.
they added AJ Boye.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They'll be all right.
Chubb's coming back too.
Yep.
They're looking
Yeah.
good. They're gonna give the Chiefs some problems. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love Fangio. I mean, that was one thing when Harbaugh left, or more like when Harbaugh was forced out by Balky and these guys in York. Fangio was supposed to be the one that kind of took the reins after. It was between him and Greg Roman at the time, but Fangio was kind of the shoe in just because defensively we're being just monsters, and we didn't want him, or at least Jed York didn't want him, and Trent Balk didn't want him, so they kind of pushed him out the door. But I'm glad that he's finally got that opportunity to be a head coach because I think he's a monster coach. So
Yeah.
I got a quick question for you since you're a Broncos lifer. Now, as John Elway, his tenure has been a little shaky. Would you say to yourself and to your fans right now, is this the most solid and like positive that you could say your team is based on the last like 3 to 5 years?
I mean, since the Super Bowl, yeah, because I mean, Elway got lucky with Peyton, and Peyton brought in every fucking free agent there was. Like, it was stupid,
Yeah.
They built up that defense with Ware, Akib, fucking TJ Ward, everybody. And then they also had guys that they drafted that they had on the low with like Chris Harris and Malik Jackson. But yeah, since then, he's been drafting good on some players, but then missing on quarterbacks, especially. But now with Drew Lock, Drew Lock surprised me because the fact that we got him in the second round I thought was sweet. I was worried they were going to do it in the first, and then getting him in the second, and him blowing up, especially the game we had against Houston.
Yep.
I was I missed the first half of the season because I was fucking in school and shit, so I didn't get to watch any games. And I came out and they were fucking I think 1-4, 2-6 or some shit when I could start watching. And then watching Drew Lock go in and take off, I think that's the most excited everybody's been because it's just been plug and play quarterbacks ever since Peyton left.
heard.
Love it.
I like it.
No, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. Seriously, Ruggs is there. You got to take him. I mean, that is.
For sure.
Any of the top 3 wide receivers are there, they take them.
You have to.
Judy or Ruggs. I mean, I don't really have a favorite out of them. I take them all.
Right. Legit.
I mean, whoever's there, obviously, I think if Ruggs is still there, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets picked before then. Which I think is what Denver's talking about trading up to 10.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Cleveland. They're trying to trade with Cleveland. It sounds like so they can have their pick. But if they get Ruggs, I'd be stoked.
Love it.
What do you think, Kev?
So hey, real quick, Nick, what's up? Thank you for showing up, man. Just wanted to say, hey, I know you said what you think they should, which is just take BPA wide receiver. If it was up to you, would you want them to trade to 10 and get the guy they want? Obviously you don't know who's on the top of their board, but would you want them to go to 10 and that way and you can in your solidarity you can be I know they got the guy they at least wanted, or it's just fuck it, let me see whoever's BPA at 15.
As long as they don't trade too much. If they can get away with trading swapping first, they've got 3 third-round picks, so if they give up 1 or 2 of those, I won't be too bad pissy about it, or maybe the third and a fifth. I'd be okay with that. If it's to get another top receiver to shore up that, that's literally the only thing missing in that offense now because they picked up a couple offensive linemen to get better up front, and then you had one more wide receiver and lock set.
Yep.
So I'm okay with it as long as they don't trade. They wouldn't. I don't think they could get any more than. They're not going to give up any more than 1 first rounder. So I think it'd be great. I'd be okay with that.
Heard.
It's on the board.
Man. Well, man, I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you for representing your squad.
Yeah.
Good luck this year.
Nick, be safe. Thank you.
Shout
Bye.
out to the lifer. Yeah.
Cheers, man. Cheers.
Brother.
Take care.
Love it, man.
Did we lose TJ? Where's TJ? I don't see him on.
TJ's
Kevin will probably
TJ's
switch,
coming
right?
back. No, no, TJ's coming back. He's reloading.
Heard.
Reloading, getting back.
I like it. I like it.
Heard.
But who we got?
Who's up next?
TJ.
Well, real quick, Kevin,
There
that
he
was
is.
brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I liked
Did you
it.
like that, man? Did y'all like that?
I liked
Love
it.
it.
Liked it.
I had to get a lifer in there, man. He's straight from Denver, living in Denver right now. I said, fuck it.
Oh, dude, all
That's
right.
family over there too, man. So that's great, man. I'm
Yes,
so
sir.
glad.
Good man.
I'm gonna have to get the fucking Devon with the Raiders next pick.
What about I don't know, T.
I
Did
know,
we get your
right?
take? Did we get your take on what you thought about his Ruggs pick?
Yeah, I agree with it 100%. Nothing to say about it. The only other person I would have considered would have been C.J. Henderson to pair with Boye, but can't go wrong with Ruggs there.
more pieces to attack with. So
I like it. All right, go ahead. TJ, did you get the Falcons pick?
I did.
he did.
And for the Falcons pick, I
Yeah.
picked that they picked the trash can because it'll help our division. Oh, I really have to make a pick? Oh. With the with the 16th pick in the 2020 Lifers mock draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Kayvon Chason.
There you go.
Actually, no.
Oh.
Wait. Stop.
Wait.
I'm lying. I'm sorry, Atlanta. I'm not going to give you an edge
They
rusher.
ripped
I
the
can't do
paper
that
up.
to you.
Oh,
I can't do that to you. I'm only kidding, Falcons fans. You're going to draft C.J. Henderson.
Hey.
Shore up that secondary. And,
I like it.
help. You added Dante Fowler. You got Grady Jarrett along the defensive line. You got Deion Jones back there. Keanu Neal at safety. Get yourselves a lockdown corner in C.J. Henderson, who everybody's saying is a top 10 talent who just fell to the 16th pick. C.J.
Love it.
Henderson.
Love it.
I hate it.
I'm not mad at it.
They need help at the secondary. Wasn't Neal injured as well? I thought maybe you'd go safety like an Xavier McKinney. Was that a concern?
They released Desmond Trufant.
Yep.
Yep.
They don't have any. They have Isaiah Oliver, who's young. They drafted him 2 years ago. I think he's going into his third or fourth year out of Colorado. But they need help there. Trufant, they let him go. He was getting older, a little bit slower. Once corners usually reach around 30, they usually fall off the map. Richard Sherman and Pat P are excluded from that, but they're elite players. So C.J. Henderson, he's the long corner, can play press man, play a little bit of zone coverage. I think it's what they need. That's what they come from. That Dan Quinn comes from that Seattle Pete Carroll coaching tree. They like long, athletic corners, and he fits the bill.
I'm not mad at it.
I'm not mad at it.
Seriously.
What is he? The second best corner in the draft. You get him at 16. So
Yeah.
Can you really be upset? And the only reason why, let's be real, the only reason why is because you have the best 4 wide receivers out in a while. You got three quarterback hungry teams. You have
That's gonna cause a lot of
4
talent to fall.
offensive line.
Offensive tackles.
So it's a lot of
Yeah.
exactly. So it's a lot of offensive tackles,
Yep.
a lot of wide receivers. So somebody's gonna reap the benefits. Oh, I need a corner.
One
All of a sudden, the second best corner
comes.
comes into play. So, honestly, I can't say anything but fuck it. BPA and need met at perfect match. So,
Yep.
I like it.
Yeah, and like I said, Kayvon Chason was the other person, but they kind of shored up that hole with the addition of Dante Fowler, and they still have Tack McKinley on the other side. They let Vic Beasley go this year, and I listened to the Peter King podcast today, and Thomas Dimitroff was on, and he was talking about the free agent additions that they made. And he specifically spoke about Dante Fowler and Todd Gurley and being able to fill 2 of the holes that they had in their roster. So that's what made me lean towards C.J. Henderson.
Heard.
Love it.
Like it.
Love it. All right, we got 15 minutes left. Let's get it, boys.
All right,
All
next
right.
pick, number 17 with the Cowboys. Papa Josh, what you got, brother?
Well, considering that TJ took my initial pick in CJ Henderson, I will be choosing with the 17th pick Kayvon Chason, since he is still available. I think it's just going to bolster up their line, and they're kind of like the edge, honestly, for them. Dude had 6 tackles and 2 sacks versus Oklahoma. He's still kind of developing. So, I mean, you did bring in Aldon Smith as a DE for the Cowboys, but we all know that's very, very temporary. And we'll see how long that actually works out for them during the regular season, if he can keep his nose out of trouble. But to me, a little bit of BPA, a little bit of adding. If it wasn't adding depth to their secondary, it was going to be adding depth to their front seven. And to me, I like Clavon, 6'3", 254. He's a big boy who can try to put pressure on the quarterback. So, and especially in a division like the NFC East, where you have a guy like Danny Dimes, you got some young quarterbacks in the Redskins, Haskins, and I forgot the other kid.
Yep.
And who else? Who else am I missing from NFC?
Carson Wentz.
And Carson Wentz. So I mean, you got some younger quarterbacks that I think you need to get to, and Chason, I think, just ups those opportunities for them.
I like it. Anybody else got anything to say?
Nope.
Good?
Perfect pick for them. Only other guy would be Christian
real
Fulton.
quick.
Kevin?
That's the only
Josh,
other guy that I was considering possibly, but to me, if it wasn't Henderson, I feel like, again, BPA and somebody that you can really make sure cover your ass if Aldon Smith doesn't work out. And I mean, again, he's not long term, so for me, it's you go with the younger guy who's going to be able to stay on the edge for you as a DE. So,
Josh, real quick. So the funny thing that Cowboys did that really fucked them is that they paid people not on time. They paid people early, paid people late that shouldn't have been paid. People shouldn't have been paid. And the only issue with that is that you lose depth as a depth chart. They're really one injury away from being a shitty team. You're talking about if you get an injury to Zeke, you get an injury to any one of their top. Get injury to Amari, they're screwed. So my question is, you're saying they should pick Clavon Chason.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you think they should do, or do you think they should trade back, get more picks, build some more depth?
I mean, honestly, again, it kind of depends on where these players fall into the draft. If they have a CJ Henderson, I mean, no. If it's exactly how we have it, they definitely need to either go with CJ Henderson or Clavon Chason. I just think I think that helps them defensively and what they need. Offensively, yes, you're right. They put themselves in a bind, but in all actuality, who are they going to get offense-wise that's going to really maintain the attack presence that they have right now? You're if you're going to base it off of a potential of people being injured, I think you're always going to, scared money don't make money, and they're just going to be playing scared at that point when it comes to the draft. You might as well go with what's available to you and a little bit of BPA, and especially if it fits your needs. You lost Robert Quinn, you lost Collins. You might as well go with somebody who, in the long term, is going to help you and be with you. Again, Aldon Smith and these guys are not going to make up for that. Like, that's not going to be the long term future for you. So why not? If somebody like Chason is there, or especially if you have Henderson, to me it's Henderson. To me, it's Henderson over anything. That immediately fills in the hole that Jones left. Even though I think defensive end wise, Chason is another great fit. I think if you can stop these guys from tossing the ball, which I think is really kind of what is going to be their bread and butter. Carson Wentz tends to run the ball a little bit, but not really, not effectively, not like somebody like a Lamar Jackson, a Kyler Murray, or any of these speed, or even Russell Wilson. So if you can stop them from tossing the ball, why not? But at this point, we got Clavon, so bang.
We got a couple picks left.
Let's go.
All right. Well, we had Tampa. We had TJ talk about Tampa Bay. Josh talk about the 49ers. Now Xavier gets to talk about the Dolphins at number 18.
There you go. She got Mr. 18.
All right, so
barely legal.
Yo, I'm timing you. You got these. You got a good 6 fucking minutes. Let's get it.
Woo!
All right. I think we go Xavier McKinney. Why? Our number 18th pick was traded away, or traded for. We traded away our safety, Minkah Fitzpatrick. I'll give you 2 reasons.
Let him hear it.
I don't want to reach for a tackle. TJ said it. There's a lot of good tackles in the second round, but not worthy of that 14th to 20th range. So I see the impact someone like Pittsburgh had with the trade of Minka Fitzpatrick, who was a Pro Bowler. Why not replace him with a player that was brought in by the same coach, ran the same scheme, and let's try to get another Pro Bowl safety who can play both safety positions. Let's fortify the loss of Rashad Jones and also pair him with the most dynamic cornerback duo that we have.
Relax. Hey,
Kevin's face.
you don't think
is
we should
just-
protect? You don't think we should protect our quarterback if we pick a quarterback in the first round, or fifth pick?
I don't think we should reach. If all 4 good tackles are gone, I don't think we should. We have another first round pick. Remember that coming up in the next
Yeah,
10 slots.
on 26. You don't think we pick a tackle or you can pick?
I think one of these good running backs are still going to be available in the second round.
Savvy. I think Xavier McKinney is good, not great, and that's why I don't love the.
You got to pick Xavier though. I mean, his name is Xavier, so he has to pick.
That's
someone.
why. That's why. I
That-
see something going on.
This is true.
I think he's going to be a good player. He'll be a solid player. He's a safe player. He's not going to bust. So, in that sense, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I just don't think it's the right pick for the Dolphins. I feel that they probably should have gone offensive line. Your offensive line is in shambles.
Shambles.
You have no tackles. You guys re-signed Eric Flowers, I believe, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yeah. So you have some guards, a center, but your tackle position is poor. I agree that you shouldn't have went running back. I think it's still too early for a running back. But yeah,
So who do you think?
I don't feel Xavier
TJ,
McKinney is the best player available
You
right now.
think we should reach for a position?
I was just
then?
gonna
I
say-
don't think Josh Jones is a reach.
Okay, that was going to be my question. Is do you think
Let
Josh
me-
Jones would be a reach because he's the next available?
Dolphin lifer. Go
Let
ahead,
me,
Kevin.
let me put a little bit, Savi, I don't hate it from this perspective. I'm really looking forward to what you think they should do because that's going to be the difference between me hating your fucking pick and me not. Because look, I get it. We let go of Rashad Jones. We let go of a safety and Minka Fitzpatrick. I get it. It's a need. Draft the best guy there. I get it. But at the same time, let's be real. Why are we traded away Alabama safety for what? Did we get a first round pick for him? No.
The 18th pick.
Right?
That
Yes,
we're gonna
you did.
Yeah,
use.
we got the 18th pick.
Yeah, you
Exactly. So we're gonna trade a first round Pro Bowler still on his rookie contract to get a maybe a safety from the same school. Like it just doesn't seem like we're making that. It seems like we're making the same mistake. So, my answer isn't to reach at offensive tackle. My answer has to do what you think they should do. And so with let me have first dibs on what you after Stavi talks and what you think he should do. What do you think the doctor should do? Savi?
If one of these offensive tackles slide, which I doubt, I think we can all agree they will be gone. The top 4 will be gone before the 18th pick.
100% agree.
Most likely.
Yes.
No, I 100% agree.
All right, so
They're
now
gone.
Yes.
my only other scenario is I want one of these freaking prolific receivers. If one of those 3 drop, which I highly doubt. Can we all agree one of those top 3 are going to drop
No. 100%.
So it's like-
not at 18. No.
I think this is actually this 18th pick is kind of like we're in a pickle in the sense of
So
Let me get
we
first
might-
dibs.
yes,
Hold on.
we
Kevin
might
got
miss
first
on the
dibs.
pick.
Kevin's got first dibs.
I call
let
first
me
dibs.
present. Let me present a question for you.
Okay, go.
Let me present.
Go.
All right, so between an O line, right? So in our draft, right? Josh Jones is the next available tackle, offensive tackle. Wideout wise, from what I have, your next available probably wideout is going to be between T. Higgins and Justin Jefferson. If you're thinking wideout, do you, or if it's between those 3 players, do you reach for Josh? Because Josh Jones by far is ranked a few positions lower than Justin Jefferson, at least from what I have here. But it's still it's a pretty big drop. What do you take? Who do you, out of those 3 players? If just based off what you just said, if it's not O lineman and it's a wideout, who do you go with? Who do you feel comfortable with?
I want a sure starter pro player ready safety because I can get a Josh Jones, an Austin Jackson, an Ezra Cleveland from Boise State in the 28th pick or in the second round, because as soon as that 28th pick ends, we have the next 5th round pick in the second round as well. We are loaded, fellas, in the draft. We cannot be stuck in, we need this position. How about let's get a for sure starter, or let's see what falls to us, because all these scenarios that we have, what if an offensive tackle does drop? What if a receiver randomly drops?
Okay.
Let me get in on
Kevin,
this. Let me get
Kevin,
on this
dive
real
in.
quick.
Go ahead, Kev.
All right, I think I spoke to TJ about this. Stavi, I agree with you. Don't reach at 18 for the next best O line. Go BPA if you stick at 18. I'm good with that. I have no problem with that. What I think they should do is, you're right, we have 14 picks. Use some of those picks to trade back into the top 10 and get one of the top 4 O line in the draft. That way we come out with our future quarterback and one of the top 2 or 3 O line in the draft, and we can come out this draft saying we got arguably the best quarterback and the best offensive lineman in the game. That's what I would do.
What do you give up for those picks, Kev?
We have the
I
whole.
would give up the 20. Listen, real quick. I'll give
18th?
up 26. I'll give up 18th, obviously, but 18th,
26.
18th and 26th, and that's it. Or 18th, second round, and the second round next year.
Keep
And
one
that's what
more
I would
first
give up.
round. Keep another first round.
Mind you, we got 2 first rounders in the first next year and 2 second rounders in the first next year.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So we can trade our 18 and then a first round next year, or a second round this year and a second round next year, or you know what I mean, and a third round.
Yeah.
Like, we have ample draft picks, so I don't see us picking 14. What we should do is take that draft capital, move into the top 10, and follow, you know what I mean? Let's get some fucking
So as lifers here, Dolphin, Mikey's a Dolphin lifer, I'm a Dolphin lifer, you're a Dolphin lifer. Is that our best case scenario, trading up for one of the top 4 tackles?
Yes.
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 I love it. I love it.
You know what that tells me? That means we traded Tunsil and we traded Minka for arguably the best quarterback and the best lineman. I say that's a win in my book.
Yep, that's what I want then too. Best case scenario.
Yeah.
I bet. Let's move on to pick 19.
All right,
Mike, what you got?
Just a quick pick. Like I said, playing Mike Mayock. I'm going full Oklahoma here. Okay.
Woo!
I'm going with Kenneth Murray out of Oklahoma. Pair him up with a former teammate. Like I said, they had Raiders just signed. Was it Corey Littleton? I think his name is, from the Rams. Monster. He's only 26 years old still. Led the Rams in tackles the last 2 seasons. You pair him up with Kenneth Murray, who had like a 28 tackle game last year with Oklahoma. He's fast. You have Cleveland Farrell on the line. You have Jonathan Abram, on the safety. But like I said, they're only a couple pieces away. I know that they're still young and stuff, but here with the Raiders, I'm thinking they're going with like a Kenneth Murray, or they could go Patrick Queen or something. But I'm going with Kenneth Murray. Just that's my safe pick. This
I like it. I like it.
I love it.
I'm not mad at it.
Either or of those picks.
Exactly. That was going to be my take.
All right. Well, that was
Very
quick.
much.
Let's go with the Jags at 20.
With the 20th pick in the 2020 Lifers mock draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Christian Fulton out of Louisiana State University.
Love it.
They have holes
They do.
all over their defense.
Mm-hmm.
I literally have a Microsoft OneNote here of all the teams I have selected with all their draft needs, and I couldn't even pick how many needs they had. I have everything BPA, and I compared my notes to other draft analysts in the industry, and they were all over the place with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I think they lost Jalen Ramsey.
Yep.
They've traded away AJ Bouye.
Yep.
They've got holes all over the place. They traded away Calais Campbell, but there's no D lineman here available at this pick. Edge rusher, I considered Yadier Gross-Matos, but I think they kind of have that down. I know they're trying to figure out what they're going to do with Ngakoue, whether they trade him or not. But he's locked up with the franchise tag, and they just drafted Josh Allen out of Kentucky, with a top 10 pick last year. Another person I just considered was Patrick Queen, as we just discussed with the Raiders.
Yeah.
But I think Christian Fulton, a lockdown corner who played in the SEC.
Wonderful talent.
For the talented guy, faced talented competition with the wide receivers in the SEC. I think it's the best player available, and I would go with Christian Fulton.
Put him on the board. All right.
Put it on the board.
With the Philly, the 21st pick.
Oh man. So Philly, let me just I'll get this over real quick. No disrespect to the Philly fans, but I feel like everyone's on the same page. You guys lost out on Amari Cooper, stealing him away from the Cowboys. You know, whoever thought that was even really his chance or not. You lost out on really getting Stephon Diggs for not really much.
Justin Jefferson.
You could still be in the market for trading for OBJ. We'll see if that really happens or not. I think you guys know where I'm going with. I think they go BPA at wide receiver. And in my opinion, it's going to be Justin Jefferson, who actually might have the highest ceiling out of all the wide receivers. But I think they're in a bind. That's what I think will happen in terms of the way that we've done our mock. Mm-hmm. What I think they should do is if one of these wide receivers slide down, then I think they should go up and get them. I just don't know if they have the draft capital to make that happen.
What do you say to the people who say he was mainly a slot receiver, never really faced a lot of press coverage, and didn't play on the outside because of the talent that LSU had on the outside with Jamar Chase?
My answer to that is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because Philly just literally needs wide receivers. So they just what I think the way the draft is going to go is that they're going to overdraft. They're going to get a wide receiver now, the best wide receiver they can at BPA, and they're going to probably get one in the third, and just see who ends up being the best out of those two, and that's the ones that's going to end up lining up on the field. Carson Wentz needs weapons. You have your best wide receivers, Ertz, and I love Ertz, but he's getting a little bit older. Carson Wentz, somebody who's constantly just trying to delay plays to try to find a way to get, give enough time for his wide receivers to get open. He needs help on the outside. I think they're going to try to give it to him. Whether they hit or not, they're going to try to give it to him.
I like it.
Now, what would you say? They have a huge hole at linebacker. Did you consider Patrick Queen at all?
I thought about that as well.
I did. The only issue is that Carson Wentz. We're talking about helping your franchise quarterback. It'd be different if it was like they had a clear hole. They do have a clear hole at linebacker, but they have a clear hole at wide receiver. When it comes to making somebody happy, it's not the defensive linebacker coach; it's the franchise quarterback. So, I think they're going to go with linebacker in the second round. If you had to ask my opinion. So that it's kind of the distinction between those two.
Argument here.
Real quick, to shut the show down, and I just want to throw this scenario at you. In a world where guys like Deebo Samuel, Chris Godwin, we're getting receivers like that, the second, third tier level of receivers that analysts say, and we're getting a lot of talent at receiver. So I agree with you. You got to draft a guy like Justin Jefferson, maybe reload in the third round as well. You need 2 or 3 pass catchers, 4 pass catchers in the NFL. I think you can find, depth at linebacker.
They don't have any solid.
I know they don't. I know you don't. I know you don't. But let me give you an interesting stat. And I wanted to segue into this. Last year they had Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson. They were on the field for 1 game last year. And they had 4 touchdowns and over 350 yards. After that, they were both dinged up or never on the field together. And they looked dynamic. And that changed the team to being inconsistent and not being able to push the ball for first downs. And I agree with you.
I'm not disagreeing with the pick at all. I think it makes my argument to start the conversation was, how do you feel about him being considered just a slot receiver in the LSU offense? Theoretically, that's where he's going to start for the Philadelphia Eagles next year. He's going to fill that Nelson Aguilar role in the middle. Mm-hmm. You're going to have Deshaun Jackson on the outside, Alshon Jeffrey at the other, with Zach Ertz and Miles Sanders in the backfield. It's a pretty potent offense. So,
Sounds like a good fit.
Barring injury,
of course,
they'll
Yeah.
but that's
yeah.
Then you draft 4 linebackers. You know,
Real quick, I just want to. I guess we can end the draft like this. I want your opinion real quick. If we only really had maybe 1 or 2 trades that we want to happen, or we think should happen. I personally think this is actually going to be the meat of the trades. Is it because we think that with the 22 going to 32, there's going to be a lot of people wanting to trade up, or are we just all kind of play it safe this go around?
I personally think there are a few teams that are looking to trade up. I think the Bucks are looking to trade up. I think the Falcons are looking to trade up, and I think the Dolphins will look to trade up. The Bucks and the Dolphins, I think, are looking to trade up because they want to get one of those tackles, and they got to get ahead of the Jets, because I think the Jets is where the tackle run potentially could end. And I think the Falcons are trying to get up there too to get something. I don't know what they're trying to get. I hear they like Kinlaw a lot, and I think they're afraid that there's teams in front of them that are going to pick him.
And out of the top 10 teams, who do you think trades down, though? Who do you think is most willing?
I don't know. That's the tough thing.
No.
I think the Jaguars would be a team because they're looking to acquire so much talent.
Yeah.
But I've heard Cleveland, and just because of the analytical team, but I think they need a left tackle so bad. I couldn't see
I was
them
just gonna
trading
say
out.
I don't see them not investing in.
I think
the whole line.
I think the Jaguars are the real target.
But do you think? But the thing with the Jaguars,
you know what? The Arizona Cardinals could be too.
but Arizona's what? They're
8.
They're 8.
They're 8. I mean, yeah. Who do we have when it came to Cardinals? Who do we have them picking? We had them.
Okuda
fell, right?
Okuda slide.
Okuda slid to them.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. The problem with that is I think there's so many great players in this draft that are in that top 10. I think it's going to take a little bit more draft collateral than normal for these teams to move up. Like, I think if Tampa Bay wants to grab one of these old linemen, they're going to have to give up more than they normally would, because these guys are going to be like, nope, absolutely not. You got to convince me by all means that I should not take this pick. And that's
why I think Miami. And that's why I think Miami does make that move.
Miami has the best. I think
capital.
definitely Miami has the best
Especially-
chance out of anybody to do it.
Especially real quick, especially because if we happen to not have to give up much or anything
For
to
Tua?
get for Tua at 5, it's fair. We're going to move up and we're going to make it happen. Not to change it too fast, but no Jordan Love in this 11 through 22. Is that is?
And I think it's really. I think this is what's going to happen in the draft as well.
Who really needs another quarterback that we feel is it's an absolute need? Like I think the Jags.
The Jags are tanking for Trevor Lawrence.
Yep.
Stop it.
Yep.
They are trying to get the number 1 pick next year. They are tanking for Trevor Lawrence.
And I was just gonna say, for them, it'll be a win-win. They give Minshew a chance. If he develops into something that's worth keeping or worth being able to trade, it's value to them one way or another. Especially with DJ Chark and the relationship that they had last year, I think they're going to be successful. I don't think it's going to be enough for them to win the division or to do anything too crazy. But I think that relationship is. I think that
worst team
relationship
in
is
the
going to show.
NFL.
They are. I mean, I don't know. We were looking at the Jets. The Jets numbers were looking pretty horrible
no, the
last
Jets
year.
produced though. They
The
produced
Jets
a
finished
little bit.
7-9 last
produced.
year.
They did, but number wise, when it came to scoring, they were like 30.
Their offense.
They
their
were
defense,
they're one of the worst.
Have been trash.
They were the
They have a
worst.
great
They were. I get it.
They
I
had no
totally get
Sam
it.
Darnold.
I totally get it. But again, if we're looking at and listen, these guys also were carouseling through quarterbacks when it came to Nick Foles, who was injured, and then Minshew came in, and then once Foles was healthy again, them figuring out what was going on there. I agree. Minshew's going to be their guy because it's a win-win. If Minshew's productive, they either have some equity to give to somebody, to trade, to get some pieces. And if he thinks he is what he is, and they get Trevor Lawrence, it's a win. They can't lose, essentially, in that scenario.
All right, y'all. You want to end it there?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Big
Good drafting.
Thank you so
Love
much,
it.
man. NFL mock draft part 2.
Lifers Mock Part 2.
Make sure to follow
Yes,
our
sir.
Twitter
Amen.
at Lifers Pod.
Yes, sir. And thank you so much, man. We're going to check us out real quick. I know we're gonna have our part 3 where we do our 22 through 32, but we're also gonna be doing a live streaming during the NFL draft, man. Checking out literally it's gonna be all of the reactions. I swear, if Justin Herbert gets picked for the Dolphins, I'm going to change teams as a fan. Just be ready for that.
Look, here we go. Yes,
Bro,
sir.
My reaction
you'll
will
see
happen.
me. You'll see me just flip out, bro. Just literally flip out
Kevin.
of camera. Feet up, bro. Feet up.
Kevin,
What?
you can come, baby. I'll let you
There
in.
you go.
can
It's a
come.
Florida team.
You can
It's a
come.
Florida
man.
team. Switch
can
conferences
come,
and
baby.
everything, bro.
No. Listen, if I change teams, it's gonna be the Jacksonville Jaguars because I know they're gonna get Justin Lawrence next year. But no, man. Hey, love y'all. Appreciate y'all. See you on a couple days. Do part 3, man.
Be safe.
Yes, sir.
Be safe.
Subscribe, Lifers. Hit that subscribe button,
Yes, sir.
man.
Subscribe.
Let's
Yes.
review on iTunes and all your platforms.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Do it, man. Appreciate it.
Shout out.